This place where the dogs are used to be a kitchen, and the floor is still there. And when we had the big excavator here to make this, he cleaned this up, but unfortunately he destroyed by accident the wall that was there, and therefore a lot of things came down and were buried. Most things we could recover, but now I cleaned this up a little bit. I need to take the shovel to it and the broom, because I want to put there the little roof that we have, so that this generator can be out of the elements, in the shade and out of the rain, in case we need it. So far we have not needed it, even on a rainy day. So here is the cable, and it goes inside, and on the other side are the batteries. The batteries are big enough that with some solar power that we even get on a rainy day, because we have enough solar panels, we can recharge enough. And usually it is cold and we don't need to run the AC and stuff like that, so it definitely helps. We are much better now than we used to be. And here we can then place this generator until it is needed. And the cable, I think, we can put overhead by using this wire that is still there, so that it's out of the way. You might notice that there's a lot of cleanup happening. And yeah, I have to say I'm basically doing this myself with a helper who also lives here now. And this makes a lot of difference, because the two of us, we are here. And in the afternoon, when other things are done, there's time. An employee who comes from far away and wants to be at home for lunch, yeah, there's a lot of downtime, a lot of travel involved, and this will never work out. So that is what I suspected all the time. And the local culture goes against it, because you go out from your home to some place, you do some work, and it does not mean 8 hours, but you are 8 hours out of the house, and then you come back for lunch. And that means that people, basically spend 5-6 hours here on the ground, and the rest was something else. And of course, if you're then not very, very diligent and have a list and coordinate well and wait for instructions, of course, the day is quickly over and not a lot of things get done, especially not this kind of thing. It works for factory work, it works for feeding animals, it works for milking and things like that, where there is a simple, single, easy task. But being the IT guy, I know where this goes to. And I'm so sorry, because all these things will be automated. Mark my words. So this is the last bit. It's basically the furniture for the pigs. I placed this waterer here, and as you can see, it is filling with water. And right next to it, this is the feeder, and they are both connected to the wire mesh on the bottom. So basically, when they are on top of it, their own weight will make sure that they will not move this around. That is what pigs do. So this way we prevent this from happening. They can put themselves on top of the water to cool down. That's also something pigs do. And then they fight over the spot. But we don't want this whole area to be a mud hole, and then we can't feed them well and all this. I just noticed that this is just 6 bays and we are getting 7 pigs. We have more of these, so there will be an extension. and then we have it easier. I let this fill now for a while, and of course they will try to move this, but because it's heavy and they are standing on it, they can't. Over there we will give them a Valle. There needs to be an extension of the water line, but that is the next step. So right now I have this connected this way that we can shut it off, and when we have the extension, let me show you this valve there, then we will basically put the extension, a T after this or before, so that we have two ways. Ideally this is a great automation project, so we can automate this. The waterer is automated like that, but for the other thing we might add a solenoid valve there and turn on their shower over there in some interval. That would be an interesting thing. I just need to get to this. I have bits and pieces for building such a thing. So what of course we also notice right now is that this is not level, but the activity will certainly change this, and if not, we come here with a shovel and remove a bit of material, or we add water and then this will sink a little bit. It's not that much that it's off level, but it's okay, and they will make this muddy anyway, so therefore it's not a big problem. But we are ready, so tomorrow they can come, and then we can also finish the electrical part here. So there will be a hot string that goes all around, and there is the white band on top, so that they get a shock if they try to climb over this. They might reach up and hang on to the fence and try to break it, and that will work as a deterrent for these ideas. Here where we feed them, it's not a big problem, because they will only do this while we are trying to feed them, and then we are present, and then there is feed here, and then their bellies are full, so this is not a high risk area for that. We have seen this show before. And so this is the new pig corral. I am in communication with the guy who delivers us straw, but he has a problem with his truck, so the straw will show up a bit later, but eventually we will fill this with straw for deep bedding, and also to eliminate the odor, because pig poop smells bad. It smells basically the same way as human poop. It is pretty much the same type of stomach. So therefore we will add a lot of carbon here, and then this problem goes away. And later we can take the loader in here and remove it and use it as a soil amendment. We received a trailer full of pigs, and now we will open it and see what happens. Voy a desconectar el remolque y cerrar la puerta. they have discovered the shade, which is very good. They are under this little roof. And the others are here. They're eating slowly, but that's because they're very little. Of course, they would like to make a wallow, but it's not possible. The wallow comes later, over there. And I definitely need to put up the cage there to protect this hose, because they are trying to be there and climb over it. One of them just did that. They eventually will break this, so I better protect it with some cage. Pigs are very destructive. The ration is 2 kilo per pig and day. And as they are small enough, this is sufficient. We don't need to install the other feeder. It comes later. As I was expecting, this is the place where they like to hang out in the shade, because that is the shade here from this tree. And yes, we need to have this water a little bit lower there at the back end, and then it becomes level. I just installed temporarily a little camera here and made a little bit more installation. The box is permanent, the rest is temporary, just to have some insight what's going on here. Eventually I need to run a cable here and have it protected, so that the camera can sit on top of this post here. That's the plan. But for that I need to do a little bit more work. Run the conduit first, put the cable in and make the plugs and all these things. But tomorrow maybe. this one is interested in this piece of mud. They try to bite on everything. Maybe it's tasty. And as you can see, those are all guys. I think there's something interesting to share here. So I just used my favorite tool. It's a soil maker, and started to cut. This is the site where soon, once they have grown out of the pots, we will plant the watermelons, because we have the irrigation here and they grew well here before. So what I wanted to share is these tall grasses. This is the first, and I do like them very much, but I will cut into them a path, not completely, so I will leave something on this side standing and also on the right side, but I will make a path here so that we can get to the trees and also check this out. And after all, cutting all this, like I said, the string trimmer is actually a soil maker. All this biomass rots and adds to the soil, much needed. And that is why this area where I'm standing has better soil than it had before. The palovnia trees are a little bit in bad shape. They are making big leaves from below, and I'm wondering what is going to happen above. Is this dead, or will it become alive again? We will see. But for now, these 3 trees, they are working on it, and I will cut away a little bit, but maybe in a second run, the things that are there in the middle. And I want to cut also there, so that these trees there get exposed to more sunlight. They are also trying to make leaves, so the one there to the left, you can see it already from here. And I want to check out what the other 3 there are doing. They don't like water, because every time the irrigation gets turned on, which will happen when I'm done here, they definitely get water too. They struggled in the past because we didn't have this irrigation here. The also interesting thing to notice that here, in the shade of the tree, despite the lack of irrigation there, so the water flows all the way to here, I think, or gets thrown, but there in the back there are good leaves because of the shade. There's less evaporation. We should extend the line from there a little bit by adding 2 more wobblers. I think the pump can handle this, and then we should get some sprinkles in there too. Unfortunately, we used a 25mm feeder line here. New installation will have this as 32. It makes more sense. It's the same inside diameter in inch as the valves, so we can bring more water to the field instead of getting narrow too soon. But we won't change this here. It is working. And I also need to order a few more of these wobblers, so we have others that are white on the top, and this model here throws the water high first, while the others throw it like that. And they seem to be a little bit more efficient. And we might also change the nozzle. This is the 2nd highest flow, or 3rd highest flow, I think, the purple one. And I want to have a few red ones there where a little bit more water is needed. Time is also a factor, so if I can throw out more water in less time, it benefits the energy balance. So there you see a connection. This is the pipe that used to go over there, and it was connected to the well and the pump in there when we needed a replacement for the pump in here. But now that we have a new one that I want to try, my plan is to disconnect these two and then use this part and connect it directly to the pump that will be submerged. And this should be long enough because it wants to go to the rainbow that sits over there. And then we should be able to irrigate all again the cypress trees and the surroundings, and also the Miyawaki forest. Now that this is getting hotter and hotter, this is now pretty urgent. The relay is already installed. I'll show you that in a second. First I need to retrieve my tool, and then I'll show you the relay. So here is the relay in that box. Maybe you can see it. It's the black one there. The one to the left, the circuit breaker, is the source of power for this whole box. Then there's a distribution, and then we have the relay. Let's see, I can open this. So now there's less glare. So there's the relay, and then it has two channels, so it can control two circuits in one device, and the breakers to the right for the pump that will be connected here, and then the pump that is down there, and that will then allow us to eliminate this cable here also, which is now not in a very good spot. I do need to pull another cable in that direction, because the one that you see powers the rainbird that sits over there at the fence. So here we do need two cables, unfortunately. But the relay sits here, and there's also another plan. So we have this 8-valve rainbird that currently sits over there that we use for sun hemp and friends. This should go here, including the 8 valves. And then we have irrigation here in this area, also on the other side. And we might cross this here, subterranean, we make a channel and go below earth, and then come out on the other side and connect a few irrigation pipes on that side, because there's also the little plantation over there that also needs water, which is currently not connected. But this will be easy. We just need to open this a little bit. It doesn't have to go very deep, and can probably do this somewhere where there's a bump anyway, and then flatten it. So that is the plan, to connect it here, and I hope to do this in the afternoon. I need to run out and buy some pig feed and other things, and then we should have a pump again in this pond there.